Hello, I'm Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest YouTube video. Today I have something a bit different to share with you, which is a creative vlog. If you're a member of my newsletter or on Patreon, you'll probably know that I've recently moved house. Me, my partner and my dog are now renting a beautiful little cottage. It's on the grounds of a manor house and a 600-acre estate, and I'm just loving being here, especially now I'm feeling a little bit more settled. And I really wanted to find some ways of being able to share a little bit more about what I get up to with you. Of course, journaling is at the heart of what I do, but there's lots of other kind of creative projects that I've been working on, and probably even more so since I've been here. So this is my first time trying to film and share this type of video, so your feedback will be really helpful. I've got no idea whether it's going to be of interest or if there's bits you'd want to see more of or less of. But so throughout the vlog, I'm going to be sharing things a little bit about some of the outside here. I work on painting the sign for the outside of our house, quite a bit of baking, working on a tutorial for Patreon and setting up my journals for the new week. So I really hope you enjoy it, but please do leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. One of the things that I absolutely love about where we now live are all the beautiful grounds that we're allowed to explore. There's lots and lots of fields, we've got sheep, woodland, there's a river that runs through the estate, a lake and a fish pond, and Barney's now 11 years old, and I'd thought he was starting to slow down a little bit, but actually since being here he's just got a whole new lease of life. There's just so much for him to sniff and explore and lots of scents for him to follow. One of the little creative projects that's been on my mind since moving in is repainting our house sign. So this sign was already on the outside of the cottage, but it was quite faded, and people find it quite difficult finding us anyway to deliver things. So I thought it might help if I at least made the sign a little bit bolder. So I've used a combination of Posca paint pens and Pilot Pintle paint pens. And so I'm just sticking with the font that was already there and trying to make the outlines and the white a little bit bolder. And because of the grains of the wood, it was quite a slow process, but I actually found it really enjoyable and the perfect thing to do on a more rainy kind of day. And I then just finished this off with a clear coat of varnish, and then my partner hung it back outside when it was dry.
Gather wood, light the fire, hypnotized by blue and amber flame. Pour the wine, raise a glass, toast a memory, call to mind again. Thank you for the company, thank you for the words you had to say. Thank you for your honesty, not playing games some other people play. When the fire is burnt to ash, say goodbye and I'll be on my way. Gather wood, light the fire, hypnotized by blue and amber flame. Pour the wine, raise a glass, toast a memory, call to mind again. Thank you for the company, thank you for the words you had to say. Thank you for your honesty, not playing games some other people play. When the fire is burnt to ash, say goodbye and I'll be on my way.
I still have my big craft unit and I do a lot of work there, but I'm finding more and more that I'm enjoying spending time creating on our kitchen table. The kitchen is one of my favourite rooms in the house and there's lots of lovely light in here, and the table's really big, so it enables me to spread lots of my stuff out. And the project that I'm working on at the moment is a tutorial for Patreon. Each month I release a PDF step by step, and it's usually based on some form of botanical. And I'm working in my Moleskine watercolour sketchbook. And so I always start off in pencil and then I'm using a Sakura Micron fine liner on top because these are waterproof. And I always start off my tutorials in my sketchbook. I feel that's where I work most naturally. Once all of the inking is done, I always scan that in before I then come back and add the watercolour, which I also scan in. I really enjoy the process of creating these types of drawings and hopefully being able to share with people how to break down something which perhaps might look a little bit complicated into simpler steps. And I find that a PDF's a really nice way of being able to do that. And once I've got the scans in of both the line work and the watercolour, you'll see me in a moment using my iPad. So I open up Procreate and I trace over each of the steps so that it can be broken down and hopefully easily followed.
Gather wood, light the fire, hypnotized by blue and amber flame. Pour the wine, raise a glass, toast a memory, call to mind again. Thank you for the company, thank you for the words you had to say. Thank you for your honesty, not playing games some other people play. When the fire is burnt to ash, say goodbye and I'll be on my way. Gather wood, light the fire, hypnotized by blue and amber flame. Pour the wine, raise a glass, toast a memory, call to mind again. Thank you for the company, thank you for the words you had to say. Thank you for your honesty, not playing games some other people play. When the fire is burnt to ash, say goodbye and I'll be on my way.
One thing I've really enjoyed doing lots more of since moving here is baking. And I think that's partly because I love the kitchen so much. It's also that kind of time of year where it's really nice to be baking inside. And also, this cottage has got a Rayburn, and this has been a whole new experience for me, learning how to cook on it. But it's just so inviting, and it's letting out some beautiful heat into our kitchen and in our living room as well. And I think it's just really inspired me to try out new recipes. I'm definitely an amateur baker, and at this stage I am kneading some dough. So I found a recipe for an easy white loaf on BBC Good Food. If I remember, I'll leave the recipe below. And I think this is the third loaf I've made, and I don't think my kneading is quite perfect, but the loaves have turned out really nicely, and it's been such a lovely treat at the weekends to be able to sit down and enjoy that with some jam. So I make lots of mess, but just really nice. I tend to do this perhaps on a Friday whilst I'm doing some work at the kitchen table, just knowing that I can leave the bread to prove on the side because it takes a couple of hours. Just a really nice way of kind of breaking up that working week and starting to wind down a little bit and get ready for the weekend. I will definitely share a little later on in the video how the bread turns out. One of the things I would love to try is sourdough, but I know that's quite a long process in preparing the starter and committing to feed it on a regular basis. But hopefully that's something I'll get to. The next thing I'm doing is baking some cookies. So I'm doing that while the bread is proving. Again, I got this recipe from the Good Food website, and I actually made this cookie dough a week before. There was so much of it, so I've already made 2 trays of cookies and we've eaten them, but I kept the cookie dough in the fridge and it seemed absolutely fine, so that was great. I just thought it'd be perfect to then be able to just make another 2 trays. So you can see here I'm putting them into the Rayburn. The Rayburn still looks pretty dusty, but it was really quite covered in lots of fat when we first moved in. I've spent a lot of time cleaning it, but it's not that easy when it's on and it's hot. But I'm getting there. Each week I'm managing to just wipe a little bit of more of the fat off and just make it a little bit cleaner. But I absolutely love this Rayburn. Everything that we've cooked on it so far has just come out beautifully. So it's so nice to be baking on it as well. And so here you can see how the cookies have done. I was really pleased with how they turned out. Again, it's just been another really lovely weekend treat. At this stage, I was getting the dough out of the oiled bowl, and I struggled with this a little bit. As I said, I'm definitely still learning, but I needed to get it out of the bowl and onto the tray and try and form it into its shape, and then leave it to prove for another hour. But even when I've struggled with it slightly, the bread still seems to come out really nicely. I would love to know what you're baking at the moment. If you've got any good recipes that you want to share, perhaps let us know. I would be really interested. I want to try out so many new things now I'm here. So after I'd left that to prove for an hour, I put some cuts through the top of it and then sprinkled some more of the flour on top before putting it in the oven. And I think it was in there for about half an hour. I absolutely love the smell of the bread cooking. Again, I just think it really adds to that kind of cosy feeling inside the cottage, especially when it's raining outside and the weather's now starting to get a little bit cooler. And I've just found it so satisfying. I don't think I've done any baking for, I don't know, just such a long time. I tend to do it at Christmas, but not an awful lot else in between. And I found that when I've got lots to do, actually forcing myself to take a little break and do something like this is just really helped. And of course, wherever there's baking in the kitchen, you can see little Barney's tail there. He's not far away either. We've been taking lots of walks outside. This is the main driveway of the grounds, and you can see this time of year the trees look so beautiful. And one of the evenings last week, there was a firework display held on the grounds, which was held for the local school. We weren't sure how Barney would be with the fireworks because he tends to be quite jumpy with bangs and noises if we're inside the house. So we actually decided to walk him to one of the top fields so that he could look down on the fireworks. And he was absolutely brilliant. I think being able to see them and not feel protective of the house actually really helped him. So just a lovely thing to be able to do. One of the things I love to do at the weekend is set my journals up for the week ahead. So here I'm working in my Hobonichi and just writing down my list of tasks and starting to think about how I want the next week to be, how I want to spend my time and what projects I'd like to make some progress on. I find that really helps me on a Monday morning when I've already got kind of my plans written out and some kind of structure in place. And things might well have to change because things happen, but just having a rough overview is really useful for me. And I also set up my daily journal, and this is in my Traveller's Company insert. And I just do some simple decorations usually. Because at the end of the week, I also then fill in my right-hand page, which might be photos from the week or perhaps a quote or some watercolour painting, anything really that I'm in the mood for. But again, it just helps me if I've got some decorations down and then I can add my journal writing around those and know that it's all ready to go. And the washi tape and the pet tapes that I'm using in this are from London Gifties.
Thank you for the company. Thank you for the words you had to say. Thank you for your honesty, not playing games some other people play. When the fire is burnt to ash, say goodbye and I'll be on my way. Gather wood, light the fire, hypnotized by blue and amber flame. Pour the wine, raise a glass, toast a memory, call to mind again. Thank you for the words you had to say. Thank you for your honesty, not playing games some other people play. When the fire is burnt to ash, say goodbye and I'll be on my way. Gather wood, light the fire, hypnotized by blue and amber flame.
And I will leave you with some final footage of these beautiful sheep. I absolutely love them, and we tend to go and check on them every day. They get moved around from field to field, so quite often we'll walk through them. And again, Barney's been really good with them. It's just such a lovely treat. Well, thank you ever so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that and got a bit of a feel for kind of where I'm now living. And let me know if you'd like to see more of this type of vlog, because I'd happily just film little bits throughout the week. It certainly wouldn't be a weekly vlog, but I perhaps might be able to share one or two of these throughout the month here on YouTube if that's something you'd be interested in. Well, as always, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's joined me over on Patreon. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing really well, and I look forward to speaking with you really soon in my next video.
Pour the wine, raise a glass, toast to memory.